I see a man, and his name is Deontay Wilder, and he's ready to put on a public performance.
Well, he's a man who also plans to knock you out, though. I mean, there's not many men around here who are planning on doing that on Saturday. Just this guy.
Yeah. Listen, he wants to knock me out. I want to knock him out. All the fighters on the undercard will knock each other out. That's
guys. Can I just let Joseph watch this now without me talking about it? You go watch Deontay. And if you want me to stay, I'll stay. But if not, I'm happy to leave too.
no, you can stay
with us. Absolutely. Joseph Parker is going to get pull up a pew, maybe ringside, to have a better look at Deontay Wilder. But we do have Andy Lee with us. Deontay's getting a little massage in there. What have you made of Deontay Wilder this week at the launch press conference? Actually, it was very peaceful. Didn't want any beef with anyone. And then he went to the States and started doing interviews about AJ, talking about Parker as well, what he's going to do to him. What do you make of him?
I haven't had any interaction with him this week. They haven't even had a face-off yet. Listen, you can't read anything into anything. You know, you saw this stuff. There might be some bit of bravado or gamesmanship in it, but you can't tell a thing by a public workout. You can't tell a thing by a person's demeanour. I don't like to look at those stretches, but they look pretty like he could snap a muscle pretty easy. How qualified is this fella?
They do look a tad painful. Don't be doing that to me. But yeah, I guess he's stretching out.
He does have this. People talk about natural punches. He does have this crazy kind of almost elasticity to him, whereby he can punch hard without really seeming to be balanced.
It's a free. How he can generate this power from. If you watch him from a textbook point of view, you say he does everything wrong, but how can that be? Also, it's a paradox because he can generate such power like that with devastating one-punch knockouts.
When you got that call, Andy, from Joseph saying, "Listen, they've offered me Wilder," what was your first reaction to that? Was that, okay, let's go and do it then? Or was it, hold on, let me just...
No, give me... I'll call you back in a minute.
And did you call him back 1 minute later, or...?
A couple hours. I talked to my brother Roger Lee, talked to Adam Booth, I talked to Sugar Hill. But ultimately, I backed myself, and my original gut feeling was take the fight. Because this is what we're in the game for. Big challenges, and this is the biggest challenge. This is the biggest challenge. You got Anthony Joshua having a warm-up fight to fight this guy. So if Anthony Joshua is the champion, Joseph's the man stepping in the ring with him. So we know what challenge this is.
Joe Parker feels like the man who always says yes. Not many people were putting their hand up when Joe Joyce needed an opponent.
Yeah, no one will fight Joyce. And listen, Joe Joyce, we have massive respect for him, and I think he gets heels up a little bit. He's got still a force to be reckoned with. Chili Zhang, just the wrong style, the wrong opponent, and that's what it is. And I thought that, to be honest with you, I thought that for my Joseph against Joe Joyce, because the time in your development as a fighter is important, right? And the styles are important. I think Joe Joyce can come back from what he's been through, and he'd be better for it.
What did Joe Parker learn? What did you guys as a camp, as a team, what did you learn from the Joe Joyce fight? What did you take from it?
A lot. We learned a lot. Things we already knew about Joseph, but I said after the fight, Joseph got a heart bigger than this whole arena. He went to that fight under the weather. I don't want to say how bad it was, but he wasn't in full health, but he still stepped into the ring. Like I said, he's a warrior. And he gave Joyce a good go and a fair fight. We learned a lot. We learned a lot about preparing in camp, and if we're ever in that situation again, me as a coach, if ever my fighter is sick, no matter how big the fight is, I'll be taking him out and won't let him fight.
He's all right now, isn't he?
100%.
It's interesting looking at Wilder here because he has been very relaxed all week. You know, he's been good fun to be around, but at the same time, having lost those 2 fights to Fury, okay, Fury's an outstanding fighter. No one's really talking about Deontay Wilder being under pressure here, but he's under a lot of pressure here.
He's the one pressure. We got no pressure. He's got a lot of pressure to live up to, and especially with this fight looming. If they keep talking about this fight, and he's looking at that fight with Joshua, good for us. I'm going to go watch, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Brilliant having you. Thank you. Mr. Andy Lee, a big night ahead on Saturday night for Team Andy Lee as he races past the camera here. But look, it feels like they have learnt from the Joe Joyce fight. They know what they need to do on Saturday, or at least they think they do.
Yeah, they do, and he's... I agree with almost everything that Andy says, because you know, you look at the trainers he had Emmanuel Stewart, and they chose him. The Cronk tracked him since an amateur, Andy. They chose him, and then he moved on to Adam Booth, and he had a lot of success under both of them. And he is a man who knows all about knocking people out. I mean, he provided some incredible knockouts himself, Andy, and that wasn't something that came that naturally to him to begin with, but he was taught the art of punching hard, and the raw materials were obviously there. So when he says that Joseph Parker is capable of knocking Deontay Wilder out, he knows that it's true. And we talk about it a lot. We have done today, yesterday, the day before, about how in the heavyweights anyone can go. But you have to execute that punch under pressure when you get your chance. That's what it's all about. And that's what the drills are for, and that's what they will have been concentrating on in camp. He will have seen where he feels the openings are. Because as he said in that interview we both watched, he would never put a fighter of his in with someone he didn't think they could beat. They think they can beat him. And it's not just a kind of shrug of the shoulders, oh, I think we can beat him. They'll know how they're going to go about doing it, or what they've seen to make them think that they can do it.
Well, we're going to bring in a man here who has been by Joseph Parker's side every step of the way. Always great to speak to you, David Higgins. Hey, your man's got a tall task on Saturday, perhaps one of the hardest fights in the heavyweight division in Deontay Wilder. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, look, it's a massive fight on the global stage, and it's a massive tough fight, but Joe's not without a chance there. You know, there's a few things in his favour. I think if you look at Joseph's resume and who Joseph Parker has fought, you know, Andy Ruiz, Carlos Takam, beat Chisora twice, and so on. There's more on Joseph's resume in terms of that high level of experience. Obviously, Joseph's a lot more busy. Like it's his fourth fight this year. Wilder, I think they're saying he's only fought around 2 years. So there are, you know, we're confident, and it's the best prepared, most mentally relaxed Joseph Parker I've seen in a long time.
I mean, it's some journey you've been on with Joe, isn't it? You know, you look at what he's achieved, winning that title in New Zealand against Andy Ruiz, and then we got to know him in the UK, taking those fights back to back against AJ and Dillian White. You know, and now he's on to a new chapter, hopefully. Yeah, and you're right. Just reflecting, it has been quite a journey. I think it shows in boxing that if you stay fit and stay busy and you're winning and always ready, an opportunity can come out of nowhere. Like, look at the opportunity Ruiz got against Anthony Joshua. And similarly here, we thought we were finishing the year with the last win, but here we are. You know, this massive opportunity comes along.
You feel like Joseph Parker has the better wins than Deontay Wilder?
The better wins? Well, he's got more big names on his resume that he's gone toe-to-toe with for up to 12 rounds. Obviously, Wilder has Tyson Fury, but other than that, you know, there's Carlos Ortiz. But Joseph definitely has more rounds against better opposition.
Tell me this. A lot of people are reading into Deontay Wilder's sort of his fights with Tyson Fury, and how he was a warrior and he came through. Certainly the third one, you know, he lost, but his stock went up. But were there not moments earlier on in his career where perhaps lesser fighters were able to have success, were able to hurt him? Are you paying much attention to that?
Yeah, sure. I think you're right there. And there are chinks in Deontay Wilder's armour. Arguably his defence, his general boxing and ring craft. Obviously his weapon is that massive, murderous bomb of a right-hand punch. But if Joseph can contend with that punch, Joseph should be a better boxer than Wilder.
What's the experience of watching him like? Because you've been with him for a long time. I mean, you're almost kind of like family, and sitting at ringside watching someone box is not an easy thing to do, particularly at heavyweight.
Yeah, I'm sort of philosophical about it. We are like family, and I love Joseph like a brother, and been there from the beginning. But, you know, again, philosophical. I can't control what happens in the ring, and Joseph loves it. He wants to be in the ring. Like, I'd run a mile, whereas Joseph feels at home in the ring. He's relaxed and he's well prepared. So, you know, I'm excited for him, and I'm very excited if he can get over Deontay Wilder. That'll be probably the defining fight of his career.